Jackson Radio Show.
Belief. Leftists speak of belief in man's wishes, and they tell you that anything is possible if you only believe. Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's Kevin Jackson's show. I thought about my belief system growing up. Now, there's two ways to think about it. There's what you believe in terms of what you can accomplish, right? The left will tell somebody, you can be anything you want to be. All you have to do is dream, etc., etc. But if you profess, for example, that belief in God, many will ridicule you. Is a belief in something greater than yourself a righteous belief? I certainly think so. I think that's man's most amazing quality, is to be selfless, is to say, you know what? I'm willing to stand in front of the bullet on behalf of somebody else. I'm willing to give my life in sacrifice of something that I think is a greater good. Military people do it all the time. They go to war. That's one of the reasons they go. They gladly give their lives. The police will do so. Other people will do the same thing. And yet, when you say what drives a person to do that, and you mention something and you say, well, it's my belief in God. It's my belief in something else. If life is so precious, why are there so many people willing to give it up for somebody else? Why does the left ridicule that notion? Fight against it, in fact. To me, that's an interesting question. Because they claim to be altruistic and humanitarian and philanthropic and all these different things. And you would think that they would be the first ones to say life is meaningless. If in other words, if I'm willing to sacrifice for somebody else, there has to be something better. If not, you're fighting to stay on earth. You're fighting to keep your riches. You're fighting to keep your cars and your houses and your, girlfriends and boyfriends and whatever else you may have. You're fighting for that. So what really are their beliefs? I mean, in my opinion, none of the things that I've seen of the left stand the test of time. They don't even stand the test of now. Muhammad Ali said, it is repetition of affirmations that lead to belief. And once that belief becomes a deep conviction, things begin to happen. He was talking about it in terms of winning the championship. Now, he converted to Islam and, gave his life to Allah. And I don't know what's going on with him in terms of that. That's his walk with God or Allah or whatever it is. But he fought for much bigger than just being the champion of the world. And he was certainly noted for more than that. What do you think his belief system was? I mean, forget, I'm not trying to make this about Christianity versus Islam or whatever. I'm just asking you, here's a man who had a firm belief system in God, in his case, in Allah. I don't ever remember them ridiculing him for it. A farmer plants seeds, and from those seeds spring crops. And crops feed civilization. But if a man were to gaze upon a seed, would he see such a future? If you were to take the average person that didn't know anything about farming and say, here, and you put a seed in his hand, do you think he would see what that seed would become? I wouldn't. The core belief right now, folks, for leftists is resist. Resist. Ask them, resist what? I've seen video after video. What are you resisting? I'm resisting Donald Trump and, the fact that he is, Donald Trump and he's the president and, no, but specifically, what are you resisting? I mean, you've got a pretty good economy. You've got, foreign policy that seems to be coming in line. You've got trade policy that's being looked at. People are getting jobs. Yeah, but we must resist. Resist. And as Sharpton would say, resist we much. And to this we much thus resist. They have no other core beliefs. Core beliefs of conservatives have withstood the test of time. They remain true to this day. Like I said, believe in yourself. That's what we're taught. But who are you? We know we're children of God, unworthy of his grace and his mercy. Well, what do the left believe? They believe in their belief system. I can be all that I want to be, whoever I want to be. And the minute they can't become that, then they lose their core. They lose their minds. They lose their minds. And they shoot up schools. They shoot up churches. They shoot up their arms. They don't know how to handle it. They find themselves, and you know what they find? I'm an empty shell. I'm an empty vessel. I don't know what I want. I don't know who I am. A guy by the name of Blaise Pascal said, belief is a wise wager. He's speaking about it spiritually. He says, granted that faith cannot be proved, but what harm will come to you if you gamble on its truth and it proves false? If you gain, you gain all. If you lose nothing. Wager then without hesitation that he exists. Now look, I'm not trying to make this a sermon. You guys know I'm a Christ follower, but I'm a failed human being. Very failed, very flawed, admittedly so, and so are you. That's why I don't feel bad talking like this. And I think in many cases, hopefully this shores up things for you. I'm not going off Philippians 4:13 on you, but I am trying to give you the notion to make you understand that when you talk about conservatism, you're talking about Christian conservatism, Judeo-Christian values. I'll include the Jews. You're talking about somebody that has a belief in something. And that's why when we talk about politics, we're not selfishly talking about them. We're talking about it from the standpoint of helping mankind. Because you know what? The only people on this planet who understand that this life isn't that big of a deal are the people who believe in something else. And that's why we don't hold it that seriously. If that were the case, wouldn't we all be fighting for Ferraris and fighting for the big house and fighting for, all the bling? I mean, look at who really fights for that stuff. There are people who earn it. There are people who go out there, they do their thing and they earn it that are conservatives. But let me tell you, liberals will fight for it. They will connive. They will do everything they could. Look at the Clintons, a perfect example. Nothing wrong with wealth, by the way. Nothing wrong with it. If you come by it honestly, if you give your part to God and say, God, here's the 10% you deserve, and then save some, and then help others, live within your means. There's a whole lot of ways that the Bible tells you to deal with that. But here's the thing: money's not bad if you pursue money and that's the only thing you want. That's bad. Same way as if only thing you want is lots of women or lots of jewelry or lots of big house, whatever. The pursuit of anything. Maybe you love gambling. Belief. What do leftists believe? H.L. Mencken, he was a prolific author back in the late 1800s. Well, he was born then, in the early 1900s. And he says, democracy is a pathetic belief in the collective wisdom of individual ignorance. He's saying all these ignorant people get together, they form a democracy, and then they vote on that. He pretty closely mimics what America has become. Save that we are a democratic republic, thankfully, and not a democracy. And he went on to predict something. He predicted Barack Obama because he says, on some great and glorious day, the plain folks of the land will reach their heart's desires at last, and the White House will be adorned by a downright moron. He predicted it. See, the reason we're talking about this belief system is this. Leftists spend a lot of time seeing, but they don't observe very much. See, what we do is we observe. We look at the accountability factor. We ask ourselves, okay, I see that person does this every day, but I don't understand why they do it that way. They could save time. They could do this or whatever. We observe, and then we refine, and we make things better. The left don't do that. The left observe and they ignore. They've observed other cultures, other civilizations that have failed at leftism, and yet they still have a belief system that fails them. We've observed cultures and looked at the ones that worked. We pieced together the fabric that became America. We called it the Democratic Republic, a democratic republic. We called it the United States of America. And over its entire existence, everybody wanted to get here. From the beginning, people wanted to get here. And as flawed as it has become, under liberalism, people still want to get here. But it's not because of the left. It's because of you and your belief system. See, you see and you observe. What is the reason that we are in this situation? Christopher Lasch said the effect of mass media is not to elicit belief, but to maintain the apparatus of addiction. Mass media is merely a marketing arm for the leftist movement. So what's happened is leftists have put our beliefs to the test. For example, do you believe in the justice system right now? Given what you've witnessed between Hillary Clinton and what's gone on with James Comey and McCabe and all those guys, do you really believe in the justice system? I contend your belief has been tested.
Kevin Jackson
on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.